Hello and welcome to another colony submission video. This is number 23 in our series, taking a look at what you guys have sent in and what you have built into this game. And this is a really, really cool map. I know I say that for pretty much everything I put in this series, but I was really impressed by the craftsmanship of the design here, and also the intricacies of what powers this map in terms of the water mechanics. Now, you see all of these levers that are pinned here. They all have a different function, and the gist of this map, which by the way was created by the same mastermind who designed Down the Plug Hole, which is what the Folktale series was built on that we just recently completed, is that this whole map is a church, and it has a bunch of water control structures built into it. It tracks all of the different resources and everything, but just I'm in dev mode right now, and I'm gonna advance to the next season just so we have this water coming back in, because I want to play with the water physics a couple of times here. So let's jump to the next season. Cycle 167, if that gives you an idea of how long it probably took to build all this. But just to hit pause so we have good lighting here, take a look at how this is laid out. Like, it's very intentionally designed. There's some nice symmetry here. And we have this structure that reminds me of like a cathedral tower that utilizes the floodgates. These are, you know, also automated because a whole lot of stuff on this is. I love the design language here. And this is also, if we go into the water hide toggle, this is another church type structure. And what they've done here is automated the floodgates to be kind of like church windows, window shutters, whatever you want to call it. And as the water level lowers, according to the submission form, you'll see these open. And full disclosure, I have spent, I don't know, a considerable amount of time playing with this before hitting record, seeing what all the different levels do and everything. But without unpausing, I just want to show you what happens here. All of these switches control a level of where these floodgates are, and there's a bunch of like nested things here. You can see there's a layer here on this side, and then there's a layer here on this side. A pretty smart way to do this, if I'm being perfectly honest. But right now it's at flood level 6. If I hit flood level 7, watch what happens. Those raise up. This other thing right here, this bank. So now, this is referred to flood level 7. That's just what they called it. But you're going to see the water rise. And if we go into 40 or 30 times speed, you should see it slowly creep up as this comes out here. After I turn off Drain the Church. But you'll see it slowly start to creep up. And it does take a lot of time, which is why I'm in dev mode, why I'm using the 30 times speed. But yeah, see, here it comes. More water is going to pour in. Water levels are going to rise just a little bit here. And more things will be hidden. But I was just really impressed with the engineering behind this, I guess we can call it. So what we're going to do is we are going to just leave this alone for a little bit. After this gets just a little bit higher to flood this next tile. And then I'm going to take you around and show you a bunch of cool stuff. And then we're going to play with this as much as we can and get these water levels to go down to reveal more and more parts of the map. Now we got water coming up. Let's go back into single time speed. And then I'm going to go zoom out so you can get an idea. We got big water storage up here that flows over the side if it's completely full. Well, let's go all the way down to the very bottom, like I always do, to show you exactly how these maps are put together. So, very bottom of the map, we've got plenty of storage. Over here, we've got basic building materials. We've got some food. We've got other more complex things. We have two-way networks that connect everything. Of course, we have power between most areas of the map. If I remember correctly, scrolling up, you'll see different things highlighted that are connected, of course. But back down here to the very bottom, you get kind of an idea of how this is, I guess, wired up, piped up, plumbed up, whatever you want to say. There's these little caverns and everything that have these floodgates. This one is set to the equalized water level switch, which we can turn off, by the way. And then this will raise, which blocks water from going through here, so on and so forth. Turn this on, and then, of course, it lowers all the way down. I'm just going to leave this on because this was turned on when I loaded the save file. Continue going up each of the levels. You'll see more and more stuff. We've got bad water diversion here. You should be familiar with how this process works. It's pretty smart. And, of course, got to have the zigzag We've got it coming in from a couple different places. This is one of the other layers here of this power zigzag for all of this fun stuff. And then that comes up eventually to all the way up here, where we've got a bunch of different things going on. And it is dark. I'm going to get this on 30 times speed just so we can actually see. I know I probably could have just locked it to daytime, but what's the fun in that? Yeah, see, this is completely sealed in here. Got a drought coming in. We turn the transparency on, you can see. Bad water discharge here is what's getting most of that bad water in. And then continue going up, and then you have all of this up here. See if I can actually see down to the very bottom here. I'm actually not sure if that's connected to the same thing. Oh, it is. Okay. Yeah, so this has been engineered specifically for this, I believe. So I'm not going to have any familiarity with the map as it was before it started, because I'm pretty sure this is a custom one. But go back down to, let's see, what level did I leave off on? Showing all this bad water stuff. I think it was like right here. We got farms underground. We've got everything is just completely separated, completely organized, and it looks nice. There's some attention paid to symmetry, not at the expense of, you know, common sense, but just lots and lots of cool stuff going on. Monuments buried, by the way. Wow, indeed. So that they aren't aesthetically detracting. But here we go. We got logic over here. And this is all of the stuff that is contained underneath the church. That's what's above this. And in here, it's just like in a real church. You have your pews. You've got approximations of all sorts of other different things. And it is a really, really cool looking thing, if I say so myself. Of course, this is all protected by these triple floodgates here. And that is quite full because we're on flood level 7. So you're not going to see, you know, anything going on here because the church is almost completely buried. But let's keep going back down here because there's still so much more to show you. Like, look at all this stuff. You would never know this is here. Looking from the top, you just see a whole bunch of trees, and these are flooded. We'll take care of that in a little bit. What was this on? About this level? Yeah. It's just a really, really impressive build on so many different levels. Of course, we already talked about some of this stuff. But continuing to come up here, like basically this entire thing you can see straight through all the way underneath. But from up top, you'd never know. And of course, we're going to set this thing off just as soon as it gets filled up, or I might just, you know, make it completely full at the very end. But I just thought this was so well put together. So, let's go ahead instead of flood level 7. Now, if I click this off, it's just going to drain the entire thing. They're all going to go down. We don't want that. We want to go level by level. So I'm going to click flood level 6. We're going to see water go out ever so slowly. You'll see you got your wave going back and forth as the game tries to equalize things. But we'll see slowly the top of the cathedral here start to appear as this drains down. I might go back into, I'm going to go into 30 times mode, and then we'll slowly go down level by level. You'll see this eventually start peaking out here. Go down to level 4. Once again, it will just take time for this to go out. So you see we have gates over here, we have gates over here, so it's all going out at the same time. There's just a lot going on. Thank you, autosave. Yeah, you can see now we've got maybe about a third of this floodgate revealed. What's going to be the best angle? Probably right here, based on what I remember. Now let's go down to... Is it still draining? Yeah. Let's go down to level 3. We'll see this continue to go down. We'll wait until sun comes up, and then I am going to put this back into a regular temperate season so we keep getting more water so I can refill this later. But watch what happens. As soon as the bottom of these floodgates are no longer wet, there's level sensors. See, like right here? These are indicators that'll tell you exactly what's going on. I guess I could put those in frame. Just waiting a little bit longer. Yeah, see, there they go. They open. Just like window shutters. And if we scroll this down again, this game does not like doing this at 30 times speed. Let's hit pause. Church is still dry on the inside. So there's a couple more sets of shutters that are going to open up. Let's, for the benefit of what we're doing here, just go ahead and put this on next season. And then next season again, so we skip past the drought. Back to 30 times speed. continue taking just a little bit more water out. Go to flood level 2. And then we should see pretty quickly the rest of this start showing up here. I really like the use of these. I never know what to do with these 3x2 roofing pieces except to put this on here, but the way that this is spread out to create these little peaks here, one, it looks like an actual cathedral does, if you know anything about those types of architecture, and it just looks really cool. So let's go down to flood level 1 after this stops draining. I think it's got a little bit more to go. Eventually there are going to be some water wheels over here that will turn as things drain out, but we do have to let this equalize a little bit. Not this kind of equalize, mind you. I want to see, relative to how this is open. Yeah, we've still got a little bit left, and it is, of course, taking time to drain. You see, we're on 30 times speed, and it's draining this slowly. That gives you an idea of why I decided I had to, had to film this in dev mode, just so we had a fighting chance of actually being able to fit everything into one of the normal 15-20 minute videos I do on these. And outside of that, so this is what this looks like at level 2, by the way. Still water coming in, because, of course, there is. But these gates here will eventually allow the water to get down to the appropriate level to give us what we want to see over here. So let's go back to the cathedral. Now we start to see, when we get down to level 1, this should, operative term being should, reveal what we want to be looking at here. So now that that is open, should be a substantial quantity of water going out, and there is. Once again, just takes a little bit of time. But then these will open back up, and then I think there's one final set right down here that says close church doors. And then I believe this drain the church thing is what opens when you opens this, or vice versa. Almost there. Almost there. So if you ever accidentally flood the church, you can just drain that. But the church currently does not have any water in it. Should just be a little while longer, unless I misremembered exactly what happened. Again, it takes a really long time, as you can see, at 30 times speed, to get all of this water out. And these water wheels are absolutely fighting for their lives over here. I know it's only making 120 HP, but you see how it goes. Still a little bit more coming out. So what I'm going to do, we've seen the shutters open, but I really wanted to show when all these open at once because it looked so cool when I did it earlier. I just could not remember how long it took as I was sitting here with it on the second monitor while I was working on some other stuff, waiting for things to refill and drain, but should be just about there. And I know we've got a drought, so it's not going to refill anymore. Maybe it'll go a little bit faster. And then, yeah, we're just about there. See, there they go. And the church inside is still completely dry. Pretty cool stuff, huh? And of course, all the stuff in the church gives you an idea of what's actually happening underneath. I'm assuming at some point these banners probably... I know I have these installed. They indicated they didn't use any mods on this, but if you were really enterprising and you had... Oh, there's me. You put different icons for all these different things, you could very, very easily make this an extremely good... I guess you could say status board for everything. Just at a glance without having to click on stuff. It's just cool. This is such an impressive build. This is the kind of stuff that, like, I wish I had the patience and the time to build. I just kind of don't, to be perfectly honest with you. But I get to look at all this cool stuff, which is always, always, always fun. Now if I unclick flood level 1, the whole thing opens, and we're going to see every last drop of water over here around the church go away, and then we should see, if I'm remembering correctly, we should see this thing right here, this entrance with the shrubs, become open as well. So let's go to 30 times speed. Let all this water drain out. Of course, we have two-way stations and everything. Alright, come on. Come on, just a little bit more. A little bit more. That last bit always takes the longest. See if I can get this to open in real time and not on the fast mode here. Should be very, very shortly. We'll see this pop open just a little bit longer. Come on. Come on. There we go. And open. And then I zoomed out right into the side of a cliff. But now the church is entirely above water. They can get in. Well, the representation of walking in now that nothing's flooded. But just look at how great this looks, honestly. It's just cool, man. So, now that we have seen this completely empty, I am going to click flood level 7. And now that that's all the way up, we are going to have to, unfortunately, wait for this to fill back up again. And you already know it's just going to take some time. So, we do have water coming back in. You can see it coming from the side over here. And while we're waiting for that to fill back up, why don't we do our end of episode fun that we always do? We have to recognize the folks that support the channel. Beard boosters, as I always call them. They're the reason we can do videos like this, where we take a break from the normal playthroughs and, you know, put somebody's creation up on the screen and get to just enjoy what the community has made without having to worry about the algorithm, although these videos do tend to do pretty well. I don't have to worry quite so much about, you know, keeping up with trends or putting out super crazy edited brain rot, whatever. We can take some time and enjoy what I think is the most important part, and that is the community that we make here. So I always appreciate those folks. Always want to make sure to recognize them. And now that we have more and more and more of this stuff coming in, let's turn the next season on. Check on our Earth Repopulator. It's full. You know what that means. It means we're going to set that thing off. So all I want to do now is just briefly time-lapse this filling up, and then we'll come back, we'll set that Earth Repopulator off, and then we'll say goodbye to this very, very impressive and well-crafted map. Alright, that took a long time, but now we are about 1 day away from a bad tide, which means prime time to set this Earth Repopulator off, launch these 8 intrepid souls into the void, and then say goodbye to what I said earlier was a fantastic, really, really creative build. So this is more or less as high as the water goes. It will get to the rest of this block height. You can just barely tell. You wouldn't even know unless you turn transparency on. There's a giant church under there. But I digress. Let's get this locked and loaded. Hit launch. And then, thank you, extreme lag. Turn all this off and just watch them depart to a brighter future somewhere else that maybe isn't flooded quite so much. Never gets old. Never, ever, ever gets old. But it's time for this video to come to an end. Thank you very much for watching, like I said earlier. And whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you back again soon for more beavers and more colony reviews. Take care. Bye-bye.